Hello and welcome back to Factorio. And in the last episode, we made sure to finish this whole snaky ammunition line, which is snaking its way all the way around to every single turret, having an inserter feeding ammunition into every single turret. Now, we are not doing any science at this point, so let's take a look at the science which we can do. Now, we only have access to we are only producing automation science pack and logistic science pack, aka red and green science. We have unlocked the blue, or the chemical science pack as they are called, but the blue science is unlocked at this point. But we are only making red and green, so we can only, at least at this point, only choose red and green science. Now, mining productivity is probably one of the best things in the game, or rather productivity is the best thing in the game, because productivity gives you free items. What happens when you have productivity is that you get a progress bar. So for example, if we take this one, we get mining productivity 10%. So all mining drills and pump jacks have a mining productivity of 10%, which means that for every 10th resources they produce one extra. So for example, if you had productivity plus 100%, every time you produced something, you produced one extra, completely free. Because here's the thing, you can do productivity. There's things called modules which we can unlock. So if we take a look at productivity modules, for example, we have energy consumption plus 40%, so everything is consuming more energy. The speed, the crafting speed is decreased by 15%, and productivity is increased by 4%, and pollution is increased by 5%. Now, productivity might sound like it's really bad. It's so many negatives, it's not worth it. It's quite the opposite. Every time you produce a free item through productivity, it doesn't cost you any extra resources. So it's free resources produced out of nothing, which is very useful when it comes to mining, because if you have, let's say you have an ore patch which is 1 million. If you have a mining productivity of 100%, that is the same as if it was 2 million. You get the double amount. If it's 10%, you can take 1 million times 0.1, and you get how much more you get. You can take whatever result you get from that, and then just add it onto the on whatever you had from the beginning. So let's say 1 million, and then 10% of that is 100,000, so it's 1,100,000. So you get 100,000 extra for free. So productivity is something we are going to make use of. Especially I'm going to use productivity a lot. Much to not make this series like a beyond 100 episode series. We'll see how long it gets, but I'm going to use a lot of productivity and expanding production lines to speed up the process of procuring resources to launch the rocket. But to begin with, and with that logic, we are going to pick the mining productivity in the queue. We are going to take the stack inserters because we want the stack inserters. We want the stack filters inserters at some point, maybe. And we want the stack inserter capacity +1. Let's take that one. We do want to unlock modules, so let's take that one. Better armor might be a good thing. Basically just do everything we can. Unlocking cliff explosives might be good, just in case we have to remove a cliff. There might come a time when we actually really have to remove a cliff. I'm going to try to not to do that, but you never know. You might have to do it, and in that case we will do it, but I will try to refrain from doing it. Is there something I need to... I have unlocked a military science pack, so I could produce it, but I'm not doing that just yet. And other than that, we should probably unlock the night vision. Yeah, let's do that. There we go. And that's going. Let's see here. Now we do need pump jacks. Right. We actually do need the pump jacks being built. Trying to get them to be automated is something that is desirable. I'm going to shove away a bunch of wood and stone, and we have 1000 landfill. We are going to need more, so let's unlock that. Yeah, like you wouldn't believe how much landfill you need to fill in the ocean. It's insane. You think that 1000 would give you a lot of land? Nah. While it's not going to be like a small amount of extra land, it's just like this puddle we have here, which is not that big, to be honest. It would probably be something like 6,000 or more landfill to fill this in. Probably more, maybe double that. 12k, maybe that's something that's more reasonable. And with what we want to do here at the coal, this 9.3 million coal, where we basically need to do like to make this square out so we can put down miners properly. we have the space to put down miners where there's the diagonal across the water. We are going to have to like build out to make the diagonal a bit further out, basically, so we can put down miners properly and give us a bit more space and so on. And that is going to take a lot of landfill, and that is something we have to do if we want to make sure to get that we get all the coal. Let's see here. The pump jacks. Let's look at the pump jacks. We need steel, iron gear wheel, electric circuit, and pipe. Okay, pipes. Pipesy. And we need steel. Okay, let's do this. Where we should probably do this, so there we go. Because what I want to do is this to get the steel over here. Now let's do this. We should I'm going to do this. We are going to need electric circuits. What I'm going to do is this and this and then this, because we do need the pipe and the iron gear wheel. And this is going to produce pump jacks. And to the pump jacks we are going to supply the belt we made up here with the double. There we go. That should be just fine. Should probably speed this up. And we are going to need a box of some sort, and we'll probably do it over here and limit it to this, to other way around, please. And we are producing pump jacks, that's good. We are going to need them. And let's see here. We do want to make steel furnaces because we do want to like replace all the stone furnaces with steel furnaces, but not just yet. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. I do want to make 10 on each side, so I need 12 more. There we go, 12. On the way, we do need to... Yeah. We do need to... make more and better science. I think what I'm gonna have to do is rip apart the science at this point and redo it. Move the labs somewhere entirely different. So they aren't anywhere near where we have the assembly machines making the science, and we have to belt the science to the labs, which are somewhere else. And then we have some bigger setups with the science, automation, logistics, military and chemical science packs is something we do need to make. We are going to start with making the military science pack and the logistics and the automation. Now, whether I want to make a bus or not, that's not something I'm necessarily not something I have decided on, to be honest. I do think we in the spirit of this series, I think we can say it doesn't matter. The bus can get extremely spaghetti. It can be very, very confusing of what's going where, especially when it grows in size and becomes very large. So I do think we should probably make it because we do need to supply the factories well enough. Now, you don't actually have to do a bus. You could probably do it without a bus. A bus is just very, very easy. It's a lot easier to do it with a bus than without a bus, because you can come to up to a certain point you're fine, but then beyond that you will most likely run into throughput issues where you can't get iron quick enough to the machines, like as the problem we are having right now. If we look at the iron, this belt isn't full. If we just continue this on and on and on and keep splitting and merging and keep on snaking it around at this point, it will get down to the point of basically nothing happening at the end of it, because there's no iron on the belt. And the bus makes that easier to manage. Like, it won't necessarily remove the problem, it's just going to make it easier to spot when you have throughput problems and production problems and any kind of problem really when it comes to resource output and input, and then make it a bit easier to like supply more or supply in a better manner or whatever the problem is. So I do believe we should probably try to We probably should try to make like more what do you call it? More like a bus, basically, to not try to run into any obvious unavoidable issues. Now, what we do need to do is mine more iron, because we are running low. The belts aren't backed up enough, and so on and so forth. We're going to have to make more. Now, it's not necessarily so that we can keep producing. Just this way we can alleviate the upcoming problem where we won't have enough iron, because it will happen. We will run out of iron at some point, and we do need to fix that. I think the two trains we are going to make first are coal and iron. That's the two destinations we are going to have to pick and build towards first, and that's the iron down here. I think this is basically the best iron to go for. We can have a station in between them and have miners on both of them, and merging them up together with splitters and undergroundies and stuff to merge them up into probably a pretty big station, outpost station, and in that manner get a bunch of resources. Probably have a capacity of like 2 or 3 trains at the station, like actively filling up, and then having somewhere up here, I think, having the offload. We might have to do a bunch of cliff explosives to get rid of all the cliffs that's in the way up here, and so we can do the stations, because train stations are going to take up a lot of space. But we should probably pick a place where the labs are going to go at this point. Now, I think the bus is going to have to go south. Like, probably a bit of a kink in it first, like go out to the right, or maybe I'll do a bit of landfill to fill in. Yeah, I'm going to show you how landfill works. Let's pick it all up. 1,000, what was it? 1,357, if I read it correctly. Whatever, a lot of landfill. So I put it on my quick bar, but if we just press E to get to the inventory, and we click on one of the landfill, we have it. Click E again to get rid of the inventory screen, and if we have the mouse over here, we see red, so we can't put any landfill down because there's a bunch of ground here, so we can't put more ground on the ground. And over here it's green because there's water, so we can put land here. Now if we move it far enough away, it gets yellow. It means we can't reach that far, so we can't place any. But if we move our mouse here, we can just click and boom, we placed. Now we can make the placement box, this 2x2 box, bigger if we want to by clicking plus on the numpad and minus to make it smaller. So it's plus and minus on the numpad to make it bigger or smaller. So for example, we can make it quite big, as you can see, or we can do it really small, like one tile. Now I feel this is probably the best way to fill in a controlled manner. And there we go. By right clicking on these little fishes, we can mine them or fish them up, whatever you want to call the action. And by doing that, we get something called raw fish. Now, the tooltip is not very intuitive of what this item actually does. It says shooting speed 2 per second and damage minus 80 physical. Like, it's doing minus damage? Yes, this is the healing item I was talking about before. If I remember correctly, in the previous episode. Can't remember when it was, but anyway, this is the healing item. If we pick it up in our hand and click, we consume the item, and if we click and hold, we can, if you look here, we have it on our quick bar. If I click, it has a bit of a cooldown effect, which means while that is active, we can't click again until it's over. So we can't just spam click and get infinite HP back, but you can shoot it very quickly. Like, you can use the fishes really fast, so you can get a lot of HP back really quickly. Now we have already used 300 landfill. We are below 1000 landfill, and we haven't filled in that much really. Like, not that much. Sure, a bunch of water has disappeared, but it's not an insane, like, there's a bunch of water still left. But we are going to try to keep the lines as straight as possible, because if you remember, offshore pumps, I'm going to build one just to make sure we have one. Offshore pumps need a straight line to snap onto. Diagonals does not work. So let's pick up the fish. And this one as well. And that's why I'm doing the straight line, so I get like these long straight shorelines, because that means we can fit more offshore pumps, which means we can potentially pump more water out of the lake. Now, the lakes never run out of water. This is just a graphical thing. Like, the water is just graphics. There's no actual water. Now, that means you can't you can't place these unless there's water. So it does know there's water. However, if we do this and use landfill, we can still, despite there being no water here, we can still pump up water. If it works as I remember. Yeah, it does pump water. So, but if I remove it and try to place it down again, I can't, because there are no rectangle to snap onto here. Now, you can't pick up landfill. Once you put it down, it's down. Which I find to be fine. However, you do need to be a bit careful when doing a landfill, because once you have put down landfill, it's permanent. But we are going to have to do things in the next episode, because I have been rambling way too much and doing way too little. But we are going to try to... We have the pump jacks. We have the labs. I have to decide where to put them. That's basically the only thing I need to do at this point. I'm not sure where to put them. Maybe here. Maybe I'll fill out a bit more with the landfill and put them there. Yeah, I might do that. But that is going to have to wait until the next episode. So, thanks for watching, goodbye, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.